Welcome to the Rewilded Human podcast, where Dr. Lucille and Lynn will tackle your most difficult and intimate questions with candor, tough love, and a little dash of humor. In today's episode,
if you're enjoying sex together, that alone should give you a lot of confidence, I think. And just the meeting of the souls and the mind and the body in this sexual chemistry, and to be desired, I think that alone gives you a lot of a good boost of confidence for women.
If all of this abuse, all of this history, all of this control and everything is no longer in my life, I now have the space and the time and the energy to find out who I really am, what I really want with my life, what are the things that I need to work on for myself. It is really, really important to give your body love. Never treat it like the enemy. Never treat it and never feel badly about it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 46 of the Rewilded Human podcast. I'm Dr. Lucille. I'm a holistically oriented psychiatrist, psychotherapist, and this is my very beautiful and brilliant co-host, Dr. Lynn, who's a naturopath and a nutritional consultant. And we are here to help you unlayer all the problems of your life so you can go back to living in a state of natural health and well-being on all levels.
I love that. Beautiful, perfect intro. I love it.
Great.
So we're going to jump into your questions, guys. If you're here for the first time, you're going to love this. You're going to love this podcast. I promise you already. So you can just jump right in and subscribe. Don't wait until the end of the episode. So the first question we have is from Lisa.
hi ladies. As I get older, I'm struggling more and more with body image issues, and it's really affecting my confidence in the bedroom. I want to feel good about myself and enjoy intimacy with my partner, but it's hard with all the societal pressures and changes in my body. How can I build my sexual confidence and learn to embrace my body at this stage in life? I'm in my 60s. Thank you, Lisa.
Lisa, dear Lisa, thank you so much for your question. We hear this a lot, and we can totally understand where you're coming from. And yes, there is a lot of pressure, for women in 50s, 60s, beyond. Everybody needs to be a sex bomb and a seductress and everything. So I do understand there's a lot of pressure on us. I think intimacy and sex is very important, even in our later years. It's always important. To build your confidence again, there are a few things. Well, first of all, obviously you have a partner who loves you and adores you. If you're enjoying sex together, that alone should give you a lot of confidence, I think. And just the meeting of the souls and the mind and the body in this sexual chemistry, and to be desired, I think that alone gives you a lot of a good boost of confidence for women. Now, another thing, I know your body's changing, and it's hard to go through that. I mean, I'm going through that. I'm 54, so I can totally understand. And our face is changing, our body's changing and everything. But for me, what's really important is to bring out the best that we can from ourselves. So for example, I pay a lot of attention to what I eat. I take really good care of myself. I take good care of my skin, my hair. I exercise a lot. And, I'm very proud of the fact that at 54, I'm like in the best shape of my life. I'm super fit. I'm muscular. I like how my body feels. And there's no age limit to that. You can build muscle in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and it doesn't matter how old you are, it's going to make you feel so much more confident because everything's tighter and you feel strong and you feel powerful, and exercise gives you, those endorphins to make you feel good about yourself and to help with your self-confidence. So while that might sound a little bit superficial, don't look at it that way. Look, it's not really superficial. It's about health and longevity. So while it will help your mental health and your confidence a great deal, it's going to add many years of quality life to your life.
That's perfect advice. And I think that you should also follow Lynn on her Instagram account. She's going to give you the best advice for how to do all of what she's just said. There are a few things that I would address from a mental perspective, which is try not to blame or criticize or send negative energy to your body. Okay.
Love it.
Giving
Yes.
your body, yeah, giving your body negative messages like that. It's like somebody standing over you, screaming at you, "What's wrong with you? You're such a disappointment. I can't stand how you look," And what are you going to do with that? Your body is going to create stress hormones.
Yeah.
The cortisol will go up, and you will only make your body more unhealthy, and you will have more mental turmoil over it. So I would suggest that you take a much more compassionate view of your body. People do not understand, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Lynn, but our bodies are geniuses at
Yes.
trying to heal and balance. And what we don't realize is sometimes we throw things at our body, like poor diet, like lack of sleep, a whole bunch of other stuff. We throw stuff at our bodies that they can't really deal with in the entirety of all of those imbalances.
Yeah.
So if you kind of think of it as, my body is actually my friend. It's trying really, really hard to stay healthy and balanced. And maybe I just don't know how to support it well enough. Then you're going to do much, much better.
Yeah, like talk to yourself as you would talk to your best friend. What would you say to your best
Exactly.
friend? Oh, your butt looks great, girl. Your hair looks awesome today. You look wonderful. You rock. You're amazing. Say those things to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was getting
And
a
I
massage today, Lucille, and I was lying there and I was picturing every cell in my body is growing younger every day. I was just witnessing that. I was lying there for an hour and a half. And I'm like, all my cells are rejuvenating and getting younger and young. So, I mean, the self-talk is so important. That is such a good
very
point.
important. Yeah. Another thing that I would suggest too is, and Lynn has already mentioned it in another episode, but try to go back to one of our episodes on self-pleasuring masturbation. Okay, because if you can find some way to pleasure your body, to feel the joy, the thrill of even touching your body in certain places, you're going to produce feel-good hormones that will be exquisite. And you will start tuning up your sexuality in a way that will make you feel so much better about your body. And you will also radiate beautiful pheromones out into the world. People will look at you and say, "Wow, what are you doing differently? You look so radiant," that sort of thing. And my third point is, men couldn't care less.
It's true. That is so true. I tell my friends
themselves over, "I'm perfect. I've got a big butt. I've got big thighs. Oh my God." And the guy just wants to go to bed with you.
Yeah, it's true.
He doesn't care. He's hot. He wants. And the last thing he needs is for a woman to be insecure about her body and going, "Really? Do you think I look fat in this dress?"
That's the biggest turn off. I always tell my friends that when they're stressing about cellulite and all, I go, only women notice that stuff. Men don't notice little details. They're not detail oriented like we are. We can look at the most beautiful woman out there and find the one thing that is wrong with her as women. But men, they just look at the package. She's got boobs. She's got a butt. She's got, okay, perfect. Let's go, right? They do not look at details. So
that's right.
Don't ever bring attention to the details that you don't like, right? If you don't like something, don't tell your husband. He's probably never noticed.
Right. And he doesn't want to notice.
He doesn't care. Exactly. That is such a good point. And I think that's so often overlooked. We think that men are looking at us with these critical eyes, but they're really not. They're simple creatures. They just want to be fed, have good sex, go to sleep, and they're happy. Lisa. I hope that was helpful.
Well, you can always write us back if it wasn't, or you can give us an update on how well you're doing with your body. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You're gorgeous, girl. Just, own it, know it, and get the confidence back. And there's nothing sexier than a confident woman.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. Okay, we're on to Misty.
Dear Dr. Lucille and Dr. Lynn, I left my husband last year right before my 55th birthday. I take estriol and progesterone creams for menopause. My symptoms were greatly improved before I left, and we had an active sex life. My problem was, or is, my husband is controlling and verbally abusive. I feel the menopause woke me up. I was so used to his behavior that I let him get away with the disrespect for too long. Menopause made my tolerance go away. I've been gone 10 months now, and he's on medication, and I wonder if I should try again, but I'm afraid to. He's very religious, evangelical, and me leaving made him dive even further into his church. I refuse to go back to being a Pentecostal, and the only counseling he'll agree to is faith-based within his church. So if that's a deal breaker, I will most likely be single for the rest of my life. I don't even try to date, since I'm still married, but what I've seen of the available men in my area, I'd rather stay single anyway. Thank you for listening, ladies.
Well, Misty, I think we both really feel for you. You've got a tremendous amount going on there, and we're obviously with your husband for a very, very long time, and you are conditioned to see yourself in a way that is all about what happened between the two of you in that marriage, what happened in terms of his being so controlling and abusive. I think, to be perfectly honest, that rather than consider whether you go back to him or not, I would say maybe you need more time away to really start learning about who you are as a person outside of the context of that marriage, because your identity is now wrapped up in being the wife of an abuser, and that's not who you are. I can guarantee that's not who you are. You need to start living your life much more from the standpoint of who am I really? If all of this abuse, all of this history, all of this control and everything is no longer in my life, I now have the space and the time and the energy to find out who I really am, what I really want with my life, what fulfills me, what makes my heart sing with joy. What are the things that I need to work on for myself to make my life more fulfilling? I don't think this is the time for you. You're not grounded enough in who you are. It's not the time for you to think about going back to him, especially under the conditions that he's expecting, right? So, and about future dating and all of that, I think it's, again, that's too early right now. Where you're at, you're too vulnerable. You need more healing. You need to be with yourself. You need to figure out who you are. And don't worry about dating in the future. Don't worry about whether or not you're going to be single for the rest of your life. I have a feeling that makes you feel a little bit scared, perhaps, that it's thought you'll be single for the rest of your life, even though you say you'd rather be single than to go back to that horrible condition. I get it. Do not try to predict what your life is going to be, because you don't even know who you really are at this point. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. What do you think, Lynn?
Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach, but I'm not trying to take away anything from what Misty said. And I totally believe that she felt abused and controlled by her husband. But the fact that she said that menopause woke her up to this and that her tolerance went away. So my question is, we see a lot of marriages break up during menopause or right after menopause because women change and our hormones are all over the place and we become less tolerant and more irritable and everyone gets on our nerves. And it's kind of like going through puberty. When we were going through puberty and we were teenagers and we hated everyone. We hated our parents, our friends, we hated everyone, we hated the whole world. And with menopause, we kind of go through that again, right? And we start to see things in a different light. Whereas maybe the partner didn't change, but we changed. So I'm not saying this is the case with Misty, but I'm just wondering, like, how often is it that maybe the marriage wasn't that bad? It's just because the hormones are all over the place and we have no patience and we're not sleeping and maybe we're not eating properly and we're not happy with ourselves and we're putting on weight and we're not happy with ourselves with the changes going on and the hormones are raging and we're just striking at the people that are closest to us. Going back to Misty, yeah, I agree with Dr. Lucille. You need more time to yourself. I'm not sure what your husband is on. He said he's taking medication, so I'm not sure what kind of medication he's taking or what it's for. The religious aspect is a difficult thing to deal with, because if you're not on board with that, that's obviously not going to change. And religion can definitely, make or break a marriage. And if you guys are completely different levels when it comes to religion and beliefs, then it's going to be, I think, very, very difficult. So you definitely need more time to process. I mean, there is a reason why the marriage fell apart. And, it's not so easy to just put it back together and just to go back and continue. Obviously, you weren't happy or something did happen. Give yourself time. Yeah. And don't, like Lucille said, don't worry about getting out there and dating. It's just too soon. You need to heal. You need to find yourself. You need to learn to like yourself again, and, deal with the hormonal issues, and then see what the future holds.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would agree also with Lynn that, we don't know how much of it was hormones or it wasn't, but if hormones are an issue now, yes, you do need to take the time to balance them out. That will help you get back into really knowing who you really are and healing. So I also agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, guys. So we're on to the next question from Sally.
Thanks so much for this great podcast, ladies. Here's my story. I'm not happy because I don't have a man or a career. I'm good looking, smart, funny, talented, I can sing, and I love Jesus. I just never saw my life turning out this way, and I don't understand it. And the repeated failures have really done a number on my self-esteem and mental health. I know you can't fix me, but hope you can help. Thanks, Sally.
Thanks, Sally, because I think this is actually a very common problem that a lot of people face these days. And so it's going to be applicable to a lot of people listening, I think. So, one thing you don't mention, if you've had a history of relationships before, if you've been married or, had long-term, boyfriends or whoever you've been involved with, it makes a difference. If you've never had a long-term relationship or serious relationship, then you might want to really look carefully at, what was your history growing up that you're having such a hard time, even getting out of the starting gate, even to have a relationship. I don't know if that's your issue. The other aspect is if you have been, in relationships before, that actually helps a lot, because you can then do a lot of self-reflection about, okay, what worked in those relationships, what didn't, what caused them to fall apart. I always say you need to take radical responsibility, because what most people do is they look at their previous failed relationships and they go, well, if I'd only known that he or she was this way, I would not have gotten involved with them. So all the blame goes to the other party.
Yeah.
But I would say that it's much, much more valuable to ask yourself, okay, how did I contribute or not contribute to what happened in that relationship? Like really, really look at, if I was looking at this as an objective third party and looking at this relationship, looking at my behavior, looking at how I felt, looking at how I communicated, all that stuff, what are the things that I can see that I need to up level on?
Can people do this, Lucille? In your opinion? Yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
I think
for
a lot
sure.
of people have a hard time being critical of themselves, like, and actually
They do.
seeing their faults.
And I actually don't want them to be critical of themselves so much as be curious and compassionate, but always with the eye to, what do I need to do to improve, to get to the point where I can connect with Mr. Right or Ms. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's always about us, because we have no way of controlling another person's behavior or magnetizing somebody to us that is good for us if we're not in that energetic space of being at our highest level of, maturity and ability to create intimacy and vulnerability and all sorts of things that we need for a good, healthy relationship. So I would say delve deeper and think about taking that objective stance, that compassionate, curious, but objective, very objective stance. If I were looking at this like somebody else would look at my life, what would I do differently? What can I learn that will help me attract the person I really want in my life? So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth, Lynn. What do you think?
Well, she also mentioned that she doesn't have a career or a man, so she's quite upset about both. And I think maybe working on the career first might be a first good step to like boost her
Great.
confidence. And also to, I'm not sure what kind of career she's thinking of, but I mean, she says she's a talented singer. So perhaps focusing on that and building her confidence and building her career as a singer. And then you're surrounded by the right people that are also in the same field. You're sharing this interest with them. And I think as you find your place in your career, then you're starting to project a different kind of energy around you and different kinds of kind of confidence around you. And basically you attract what you are. So as you mentioned, Lucille, you know, doing the inner work, working on yourself first and being the type of person that you would want to be with, that you would want as a partner, and then opening up so that you can actually receive and accept the right person when they come along and being open to them, because a lot of people, you know, the right person comes along and they're like, you know, they will find something wrong with them.
Sure. And especially if you have a poor self-esteem underneath all of that, you will definitely reject the people who come along who are good for you. For sure.
Exactly. I'm going to mention friend Erica, if you're watching this, don't be mad, but this is such a funny story. So my friend was introduced to this good-looking Greek guy and everything. You know, it was kind of, they were trying to get set up. She didn't like him because he had dirty glasses. So we laugh at this a lot. And I always say, you know, when we see a good looking guy, I'm like, oh, but look at his glasses, right? That was like a deal breaker for her. So, you know, make sure, Sally, that, you know, when the right guy's there and standing in front of you, that you're not worried about something as trivial as dirty glasses, for example.
Yeah, don't find excuses to reject.
Exactly. Yeah. Stay open. And, you know, if you're smart and funny and talented, then the right guy will find you without question. Best of luck to you, Sally. So we're up to the last question of the day.
Hi, Dr. Lynn, Dr. Lucille. How can I accept the sad reality of not feeling or looking desirable after a lumpectomy? It makes my breasts look not normal with ugly scars. Please help, Bella.
Bella, thank you so much for your question. I received this from a follower as a DM on Instagram. I totally can understand. I can relate to this. I've had my breasts butchered left, right, and center. I've talked about my story before about breast implants, having them removed, having them ruptured, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I've had 4 breast surgeries. So there are definitely scars. There's not too much you can do, you know, I mean, other than loving them and learning to love them. I've really focused on the fact that they are my own breasts now. I don't have the implants anymore. They are healthy. To me, they are beautiful. They are mine. You know, they're far from perfect. And like I said, there's scars and everything. And I'm just happy that I'm healthy and I've got my little breast that I love so much. So I think it's just kind of a mindset, Bella. You know, hopefully there weren't any issues and you are okay and you're healthy and it's only the scars that are bothering you. One thing that you can do with the scars, if they are still fresh, is you can do laser, and they can do a couple of treatments with the laser and it will help diminish the scars. It's quite good. Another thing you can do with older scars, and I've also had this done, is they actually do, I can't remember what the therapy is called, but they inject lidocaine into your scars. And that helps not just to heal old scars, but, you know, energetically, the scars are related to different organs and different parts of the body. So, for example, a scar on your face can cause, I don't know, like liver problems or issues in other parts of the body. So they're saying it's really important to address these scars and to soften them up. So the doctor that I go to, who's also into all the holistic therapies, he does this lidocaine injection, and he went through my body and injected all the, like, even little scars or little scabs, everything on my body. I'll have to find out what I can't remember what the therapy is called, and I'll link it down below because it's quite interesting. So, you know, I think the main thing is love yourself, love your breasts, love your beautiful, healthy body. Ultimately, that's the most important thing. And with the scars, there are some things that you can do. Lucille, do you have anything?
Well, Lynn is the expert on this, and I
I'm the boob
think
expert.
we always defer the boob questions to Lynn. You know, I endorse everything that Lynn has said. And I also think that, again, as you know, with any woman who's having trouble with her body or perceives that her body is abnormal or ugly or whatever, it is really, really important to give your body love
Yes.
and not to treat it, never treat it like the enemy, never treat it and never feel badly about it. It's really about, again, your breasts didn't decide that, you know, that you should have a lumpectomy. It was just, they're trying their best to try to keep you in a healthy and balanced state. And I would say, think about your body as your best friend, and that you're there to just learn how to support your body in the best way possible, and it will take care of the rest. And the other thing is, if you're ready for it, try some self-pleasuring of your breasts. Try to just gently explore your breasts with your touch and just see if you can allow yourself to feel some sensual pleasure.
Mhm.
Because that will improve the relationship between you and your body. You will focus less on how your breasts look and more on the pleasure that you feel with the touch. So anyway, that's my 2 cents, and
I love that.
I really do hope, Bella, that you can come to eventually love your entire body.
Thank you guys so much for sticking with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the little notification button, guys, so that you get notified. We have a new episode every single Thursday without fail, and it's coming up. It's going to be a year soon in October. So by the time you guys are watching this episode, will be coming up on a year very soon. And in our next episode, we're going to be talking about self-sabotage and why we think it's selfish. So you don't want to miss that one, guys. Tune in next week. Thank you. All the best, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Please be aware that Lynn and I are here to provide insights, advice, stories that are for educational and entertainment purposes only. None of our content should be considered to be personal, medical, or mental health therapy. If you are experiencing a mental health or physical health challenge, please consult the appropriate healthcare specialist. We are here to provide the best possible content in an atmosphere of positive conversation and personal growth.